Hello, neuroplasticians. I'm so excited to have a fellow German on the channel today. Christoph Karl Knoll, how are you doing today, Chris?
Oh, thank you very much for the little introduction, JJ. Doing pretty good. Thank you very much. It's a
Mm.
wonderful day here in Barcelona, and it's a
Oh,
Monday. I
wonderful.
love Mondays, so it could be better.
Barcelona, what a treat. I don't know, and I really want to get into the weeds on your work. You're doing such
Mhm.
great stuff, and you're being such a great ally and sharer of intellectual insights in the NPN Hub. How's it going inside the hub? What are you finding? What are you learning? What's your experience, Chris? What's going on
I
for
mean,
you?
First of all, thank you very much for this wonderful place you have built, because really I enjoy participating in the round tables, in the open discussions. It's really a place where knowledge about neuroscience and neuroplasticity is shared on a level which I haven't seen that often yet. So, and therefore, for me, I'm really looking forward to our to the discussion tomorrow when it comes to how organizations should rewire their let's say their design in order to build
Yeah.
inclusive workspaces, which is a very
Uh,
important topic for myself.
Yeah, let's speak about your work in that organizational space. Tell us, actually, let's start at the beginning. Tell us what's keeping you busy in your practice, Chris, and we can go from there and we can speak about the
Okay,
neuroscience.
perfect. Let's do this. Yeah, the thing is, I had already two burnouts, and one in 2012, one in 2018. And after the second one, everything changed for myself, or for me. So it was really about, okay, how I would actually like to live and how I would like to work. These were the main questions I always asked myself. And from that questions on, I have rebuilt everything I know, how to live, how to work towards a more energy or mental energy fluid life. Because when you wake up in the morning, you're waking up full of energy, and over the day it just it decreases naturally. And this is actually the
Mhm.
main work I'm doing within organizations as well as in my one-to-one coachings. And
Mhm.
because mental energy is really the asset we can rebuild every day, but we need to know how to manage it the right way. So at
Mhm.
3 o'clock, we don't start with, "Oh, I need a coffee," because I'm tired. I mean, most people watching this probably can relate to this little afternoon tiredness. And yeah, this is actually
Yeah.
what I love to do and the reason why I like to do it.
Let's speak about that afternoon dip.
Yeah.
Obviously everybody goes to Dr. Caffeine to help with that, get over that. Is that good enough? Is that not good enough? What is your take on the afternoon dip and we pop up with caffeine?
I have to say, I love coffee. I love a good coffee. I love a good coffee after lunch. But anyway, what you're describing with the afternoon dip is really a common challenge most people in work environments are facing. And it was for me the same back in the days when I used to work in my
Mhm.
9 to 5, and I could have seen this all around with all my colleagues, managers. It doesn't exclude anyone. So we all face this little challenge.
Mhm.
The thing is, it's not bad, but coffee is really, it's one of these quick solutions humans tend to seek out for.
Mhm.
And it's not lasting, it's not sustainable, not at all. So I'm pretty much the people I have seen pretty much drink not only one coffee, they drink 2 3 coffees in the afternoon in order to keep the level high, their energy. But at the end of the day, it drains us more then it serves us, it
Mhm.
benefits us. And I think, and I strongly believe that with the right frameworks, when it comes to our energy, we can sustain our
Yeah.
energy longer over the day without having this afternoon dip.
but let's speak about the neuroscience of energy, because it all comes back to energy at the end of the day. If you believe in quantum physics or not, it's all energy. So we can get
Absolutely.
lost down that rabbit hole at another time. But in terms of the energy,
Hmm.
people use coffee to trigger that sympathetic response, that
Yes,
allostatic load to get
yes,
them to open their eyes in the afternoon.
true.
And what I do is, and I've built a day around having an afternoon siesta after having lunch. And it
Wonderful.
just gives me enough energy, literally
Yes.
energy, to then go off and have a good a good afternoon. So this is what I do. I do the heavy lifting cognitive problem solving in the morning, and
Hmm.
then I use the afternoons to have rich conversations and round tables and that. But I still, drink coffee, But I mean, just in terms of your model, how does that sit or fit or doesn't it?
I mean, you pretty much comply with everything the Spanish culture is based on. Siestas. And
Hablo
no,
español.
yeah, no, that's a
Por
very,
favor,
por
answer
favor.
eso, bitte.
That's a very smart move at the end of the day, because these little power naps can really restore some energy. Of course, not everything. For that, it's necessary
Mhm.
that we take that we go to bed in the evening and restore overnight energy, rebuild what has been
Mm.
drained over time. But nevertheless, the thing is, what you're describing also with your workday, how you do your work, that you eat the frog right in the morning, it's the best thing what we can do. So because in the morning, when we have the highest when we are fully loaded like a phone, of course it makes sense to do the heavy lifting in the morning and take care about the stuff we mostly avoid already
Mm.
in the morning, because many people need some time to get into their work, which is at the end of the day not bad, but the way does not allows us to work constantly um, with the same energy throughout the day. Just imagine you're starting with checking emails, with little stuff all the time. You drain a lot of energy, and then at one point around midday, you're taking care of the heavy lifting. It means you have already used so much mental energy that you will need more energy, clarity, and space in your mind in order to take care about the big project you have to do. What you're doing is smart. You're eating the frog in the morning, you're taking care of the heavy lifting in the morning, and then you have the space and clarity until midday to do the little stuff. And after lunch, you're taking care about administrative tasks or about creative tasks, which will benefit your right side of the mind, which is responsible for that kind of task. So at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
really, I
So
really support it.
here's a curveball. Sorry, please carry on. I'm interrupting.
What you said, sorry.
So here's the curveball. So
Go for it.
my wife, and I'm sure millions of other people, find that their day starts slowly and they kind
Hmm.
of wind up and
Okay.
and she does her best work night, like basically like a night owl, rather than
Hmm.
me, who's I don't know, whatever a non-night owl is, an early sparrow or whatever. So, what do you think about this model of people who have different patterns of sleeping in the morning or being working, doing the hard work in the morning or doing the heavy lifting at night? What's your take on those different kinds of neurological preferences?
I mean, nobody is the same, right? No one is the same. So we are all different people. And
You
yes,
and me, bro, we the same. You and me, bro.
the thing is, we all have a different rhythm. The circadian rhythm is works completely different for every one of us. So, and I can tell you, at the in the past, I have been this kind of night owl as well, and my energy, the peak of my energy was in the late afternoon. Today it's completely different. Today it's before, let's say, between 9 and 11 or 12. Then I have feel the most energized, and it drains slowly after time in the afternoon. But over time, we see perhaps that we will change when it comes to our energy, because we are in a steady transformation, we humans, you know, yourself, neurobiology, like, as well as mentally, we are changing all the time. So it means just because of our rhythm is like this does not mean that in the future it won't change. And then it's always best to have still the tools to adapt to this new situation.
Do you find that people change through periods of their lives? Do you think there is difference in terms of how we process energy, or do you think it is personality driven, or what is your thinking? What is
So,
your research showing?
external factors, situations changing, life situations are changing, and biologically seen, we are changing every 7 years, right? So when it comes to science, therefore, yeah, it comes all together at one point. And when I've seen this, when I see this from my own situation, looking back into my past, I have changed so many times that, yeah, there are many factors coming together at this point. So it's you cannot break it down on one factor.
I was reading this paper again. It's one of the oldest papers ever. It's not a paper, it's a research study done at Harvard of longevity and what makes people happy. I don't know if I don't know if you've seen the paper. It's very interesting. It's so old it goes back pre-World War One. JFK was even in the study when he was at Harvard. Did you did you ever see there's a study on happiness? What makes people happy or not?
I never have read the paper, but I know
Damn it,
about the
I'll
paper
find it.
you
It's not a paper, it's an ongoing study. It's been
okay.
going on longer than you and me have been alive together. And
I know the paper you're talking about. I never read it
yeah.
or the study itself.
Anyway, it doesn't matter if you read it or not, but the thinking that I read from the paper is that it shows, it's about 50%, maybe slightly less, of our genetic probability of happiness. Other things like our social environment, our life circumstance, basically how much financial or other stress that we are having, and the sense of purpose. So, with all those taken into account, it shows that, pretty much half of happiness is just genetic. You're lucky, you're born to happy parents, or you're not, and that's just art. But obviously, you can change situations, but it takes work. So, in terms of managing your energy, especially if you've been through burnout twice, like you got, I'm so impressed. What are the tools that best work to get someone from down there to up here? Is it genetic? Is it just bad luck? Are there things that you can do? How does Christoph get someone from zero to hero?
That's a very good and deep question, really. I think when we consider that everything we are doing in life is also changing and affecting our genetic code, it means if you're becoming an alcoholic, your the misuse will change your genetic code. Yeah, if you're a smoker, the same. If you have experienced trauma, it will change your genetic code. So it's all influencing our code at the end of the day. Everything we do, we experience. So, and considering this, life is an entire risk. And for me, it was really the point about making one big, bold decision for myself. Because I think when I was back in Argentina, we have talked about this already in our conversations. In 2022, traveling South America, and when I have been in Argentina, I was making a big decision for my own life, that I build a world inside of myself, which I don't let get triggered by any external circumstances anymore. So for me, this decision was so important that it changed actually everything for me, because I trained my brain towards that decision. That
How did you
everything.
train it? Tell us the machinery. Tell us the mechanics. This is the stuff that people want to know. Tell us the secret, because you got it.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, like I said, our brain is plastic. I know many people watching this now. The thing is, when you have once made this kind of decision, your brain automatically, or let's take it differently. When we consider that 15% of our thoughts only happen in the consciousness and 85% happen in the subconsciousness. And our consciousness is just the goal setter, but our subconsciousness is a goal getter. Means
I love
here
it.
we make in the consciousness, we're making the decision, but the subconsciousness is responsible to lead us automatically towards our set goal, our set decision. In my case, to live a life in peace, and you can do this by repetition, by reframing, by reflection, by journaling, by doing brain dumps, by so many different tools out there. But it depends always on your individual situation. What would you like to do? So, and for me, it was mostly about building the right habits that serve me during my day, for my work, positive talk, affirmations, visualization. So everything came into one place, and I'm still work in progress. I'm still working on myself to build the right habits that serve me long term, that are sustainable. But it all comes down at the end of the day to repetition. Repeat them, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. So the reps make the magic at the end of the day.
I love
And
it.
and then our consciousness
Mhm.
will communicate the right way to our subconsciousness, and our subconsciousness will direct us towards the goal we like to achieve.
I love it. Remind me of the goal setter and the goal getter. I think that is so clever.
What would you like to hear about that?
Just remind me how it works in your explanation.
That, for example, let's say I set myself the goal, I would like to be rich, or I would like to have more money.
Okay.
I make this decision in my consciousness. But my subconsciousness, we need to be precise for that, because our subconsciousness loves precise goals. Means I'm leaving the house, for example, later to go into the city, and I find €5 on the pathway. For my subconsciousness, the task is done, but not for my consciousness, because I want to make more money, yes, but long-term, more money on my account, not only finding €5 on the pathway, but for the subconsciousness, the goal is achieved. So that's why what I recommend, for example, also my clients, is when we are setting goal, we do using the SMART framework. It means that the goal needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be actionable, relatable, as well as time bound. So if all those factors are given and we set our goals that way and communicate it to our subconsciousness, then we will achieve, or let's say our subconsciousness will lead us to achieve this goal. So this
No,
is
I think the SMART model is great. And I always say that the R should be repeatable. I don't
yes.
know what relatable means. Maybe relatable is also important because it speaks about relationships, and it speaks about how it can be, relevant to others,
Mm,
because we're a social species.
yeah.
You know, I don't know. Anyway, we're getting lost. I think this would be like a really cool conversation to actually have in a roundtable if you're up for
Oops.
leading. I've been trying to do this in my mind, but this is my H for
Okay.
habits, but it's not a very good one. But it's all about habits. It's all about building habits, because if you get stuff out the prefrontal cortex and you get it to be habitual, you don't have to think about it all the time. We're
No.
we're 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 busy moving house, and there's always a clock over here on the wall,
Yeah.
and we've taken it down. And
Yeah.
whenever I want to know the time, I look and I think, oh God, there's no clock there. So silly. But it's just amazing how that the habits just, they just stick. So hopefully I'll find a new place to hang my clock in the new future. But this has been a really interesting conversation, Chris. I'm really looking forward to us having dialogue around this and, leading conversation about how we can apply your work to maintain, sustain, and even Red Bull our brains using
Sure.
energy intelligent approaches that you were speaking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you so much for being on the channel. And is there any pearl of wisdom you want to leave us, or should we leave them hanging for the round table?
A little wisdom. Spend your energy and time wisely,
I
because
love it. Said,
energy you can get back every day, but time is lost when not spent wisely.
very good. Well, I've spent my time wisely with you because you really have brought such
Likewise.
energy and intelligence into the community. So, see you in the next round table, my friend. And
See you,
hola,
Justin.
Barcelona. We'll speak soon.
Hello to Germany. Talk
Thank
soon.
you, my friend. Have a
Thank you
good day.
too. You too.
Bye
Ciao,
bye.
ciao.